Gina Carano gets a massive win today, and this is great news for free speech because Disney is trying to pretend like they only fired Gina Carano because what she said was so horrific and abhorrent, and it couldn't, they couldn't possibly associate their brand with Gina Carano anymore. But her lawsuit is moving forward. The judge has allowed the lawsuit to move forward. Disney tried to kill it before it even made it to trial. Elon Musk is funding it. And I think this is great news for a few reasons. One, this will put a lot more pressure on these big, media giant corporations that control pretty much all of Hollywood, the movie industry, the news industry. Disney owns, I believe, ABC, for example, as well as, Disney and Marvel and Pixar and a bunch of other things they've gobbled up. I think they bought the movie side of Fox as well. So they are a big player in this industry. And this lawsuit going forward is going to make Disney think twice about firing conservatives for, voicing pretty mild opinions. I mean, you can say that any, Nazi references is, abhorrent or whatever, but in modern day America, we certainly regularly make those comparisons. If you can't reference Nazi Germany, I don't know how I mean, by that standard, most of these actors would be out of work and most people in the media would be out of work because people make these comparisons constantly, whether it's appropriate or whatever. It's certainly the norm in, political discourse. Disney trying to pretend that what she said is particularly important, when really she's just saying, there's persecution of conservatives, and obviously is particularly true in Hollywood, which is, I think, obviously true. Now, if you jump into this article, you see that, you see the fired Mandalorian actor, Gina Carano. I guess they're saying actor instead of actress now for whatever reason. I've noticed that switch up as well. But anyway, she is, uh, her lawsuit is going to go forward, and the district judge, Garnett, is actually appointed by President Biden. So the fact that a liberal judge appointed by Biden would allow this to go forward makes me think there's a good chance she could actually win this. And I don't think the fix is necessarily in this case. We will see how it goes, but it's certainly been a long time, 3.5 years, which is, in my mind, a very long time. It shows you how slow the court system is and how delayed it is. I mean, February 2021, and then we're just starting to go to trial. Then whatever happens in court will be appealed, and then appealed and appealed. So we're probably about, several years to maybe close to a decade to actually resolving this. But that's important because Disney has to decide, are they willing to suffer all this bad press to silence her and keep up this kind of regime where conservatives cannot speak politically, but liberals can, which I think is wrong. I think companies should. I mean, if they have a, can't. I mean, if the idea is that you shouldn't say anything publicly, I could maybe understand that, but that's obviously not the policy. The policy is you can say liberal things publicly and conservative things not so much. Now, I don't think this is going to be as big of a watershed moment in Hollywood because there's a lot of ways to blacklist people. You don't cast them to begin with. You fire them for other reasons. I mean, if they would have phrased it a little differently and made up another excuse, they could have gotten rid of her without probably facing this lawsuit. But I do think it does impose a cost on them. It does make them think twice about firing conservatives. And it does uh, create an environment where there's a lot of pressure on these companies that push this woke ideology. And every day this lawsuit's in the news, it's costing Disney and their reputation. And I think actually firing Gina Carano probably cost them a lot more from a monetary standpoint, reputationally, than anything that's going to come out of this lawsuit from whatever her compensation is to a company the size of Disney. It's not going to actually affect their bottom line, and the lawyer fees and whatnot. Again, to a company that's worth 100+ billion dollars, they're going to be fine. But reputationally, the stock has been really. I mean, over the last 10 years, it's basically flatline. There was a period where it went up with, ironically, Disney Plus and a lot of the hype around it, but Disney Plus turned out not to be as big of a moneymaker as some people thought. Stock is about where it was 10 years ago, which is certainly not good for the market. And hopefully, the bad performance and the bad press and the political activism will lead shareholders to, shareholders that are not BlackRock and actual individual shareholders to speak up and get some actual change in this organization. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.